So, you already read the title of the video. You already know what I'm going to talk about. But, I just have a question. Why is it more common today for parents to blame their own irresponsible actions or what they did wrong onto other things? Well, it's because the parents have more things nowadays to blame it on. You know, today, you already read the title, we're going to talk about 2-year-old who crashed her mom's car into her. Now, what? I read the title of this news article and I was like, what the hell is happening here? I mean, not to mention her mother was pregnant. It's a really bad situation to be in. You know, 5 years ago, parents were suing companies for their child almost killing them. But I guess that's where we live in today, folks. A California family has filed a product liability against Tesla after a woman was pinned against a garage wall when her 2-year-old climbed into her parked Model X and accidentally drove it into her on December 27, 2018. I'm sorry, but how is it Tesla's fault? In my opinion, it's the mother's fault because she was the one that was irresponsible for her actions and didn't take over what she did wrong. Now, I don't have enough money to buy a Tesla because it's around between 50,000 to 100,000, maybe more, maybe less if you buy an old one or a completely new one. But it's really expensive. It's not like a cheap car you go to a dealership and buy for like $2,000 or $20,000. It's expensive, and it's a car that is hard to get because it has a lot of stuff that's on safety. It has a lot of technology, and it's based on safety. Now, whether you know how to use it or not, the car does have it. And whether you like it or not, it will continue to have it. Why? I don't know why you wouldn't like to have it, though, because that sounds pretty stupid to me. But, yeah, how is this Tesla's fault if her baby that she wasn't looking after went and did that? Her child went and almost killed her by accident. How is it Tesla's fault? What did Tesla do wrong here? Nothing actually, because I don't see anything that Tesla did wrong, and that's why I think the mom is in the wrong here. She is extremely irresponsible for what happened to her child, and she is responsible for what happened to her child. She was irresponsible, but she doesn't want to assume the thing that happened to her child. Why is it so hard for parents to do that today? There's a bunch of examples of this. For example, parents who let their Xbox take care of their kids, which I'm probably going to make a video on something like that soon. But more specifically, parents who let others or other objects or things educate their children. If the parent doesn't want their children to grow up in a certain way, that's why you educate them. That's why you go and, whether you like it or not, give the kid a spank, even though I'm not sure about the laws in the whole entire world about that. Some places have different laws. But it's, you choose how to educate the child. Now, when you're irresponsible, when you're doing something bad, and then you just try to blame it on somebody else, which is what a lot of people do these days, that's not a good thing. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just not good to do that. It's not healthy. And it's the mom's fault. I can't say anything else. It's just her fault. Harcourt, who took ownership of the car on December 23rd, claims that she left the Model X parked in the driveway outside of her garage with its power door, Falcon Wing rear doors, as she and her son went into their home. The boy then ran back into the car and climbed into the front seat, and she went back to get him. So, does this sound like a movie to you? Because it sounds like a movie to me. It basically happened like a movie. It might be just me, but I'm seeing some red flags in all this. I'm seeing some stuff that it just seems way too planned out, way too unnatural. But it happens. Accidents happen, and we gotta read more because it just sounds a little too, I don't know, made up. And I mean, why would she leave her doors open? Cause outside, was she about to get out? Cause she doesn't state that. She's just like, oops, left the doors open, and I have a 2-year-old child who can climb in there. Does this mom not have a brain? Does she not think about what can happen? I know it's her, yeah, it's her first son or it's her first son, yeah, it's her first son, and she's not even more careful because the stories I heard about pregnant mothers is that they're even like they're 100% careful with their first children. Now, you gotta be careful. It happens, and 1 second without looking, stuff like this can happen. But it's her fault. She should have paid more attention, especially since this is her first son. She should have paid more attention because it could have been worse. Actually, because this was already extremely bad, but this could have been worse. What if he ran away? Because he's just a toddler. He doesn't know what he's doing. What if he started running away? What if he crashed the car back? He went backwards with the car. Because if he went backwards with the car, and this is a toddler I'm talking about, if he went backwards with the car and the doors were open, he would probably either fall out or he would crash into another person or another car that was outside the street. He would get into even something worse, and it's because his mom wasn't careful enough. And situations like these, 1 second without looking at your child can actually lead to something really bad. It can lead to really, really dangerous situations. Now, the Tesla Model X is actually able to save data of what happens with the car, what buttons are pressed, what pedals are pressed, what doors are opened, everything. So this is what really can tell us if the mom is just lying at that point, if she's just trying to make this up so she can get a better case, or if she's not making it up so she's telling the truth. But like I said, it sounded very made up, and I'm gonna read to you what actually happened, and you're gonna be like, oh yeah, she's definitely lying, trust me. The driver's door was opened and then closed. The left rear door was opened and the driver's door was activated by the handle to reopen. The brake pedal was pressed, which set off a function that automatically closes the power driver's door and allowed the car to be manually shifted into drive as the vehicle issued alerts that were still open. So basically, what happened is this 2-year-old went and did all that, and the car's just like, yo, don't do that, stop, the door's open, something's gonna happen. The car has safety regulations, and telling us this tells us that the mom was lying first about the doors that were open. And well, how can a 2-year-old do all this? You're gonna try to tell me that the 2-year-old can do all this? The logs show that the car then accelerated for a few seconds in a fashion consistent with the pressure on the pedal, save for a brief override when the brakes were reapplied. The car then registered an impact to the falcon wing door and was finally brought to a stop with the brakes and shifted itself into park when it sensed that both pedals had been released for a few seconds as designed. So the car just decided to stop. The car was like, yo, it's time to stop because something bad is really happening right now. Well, both of the pedals were let go. That's a normal car. Now, you're gonna tell me that a 2-year-old, unless he's like ginormous, unless he's like, I don't know, what do you call it? A man baby? Yeah, unless it's a man baby driving that car, how did he do all this? Cause, how did he do all this? It's just it doesn't make sense to me. Like, it doesn't make sense because after Tesla's rebuttal, they told the truth. In my opinion, I believe this is the truth because it's technology, the data is being retrieved. I don't think Tesla can. Well, maybe they can lose that much money, but I don't think Tesla would be willing to lie about this. Maybe they would, because they want money. They want their money. They don't want to lose money. But yeah, how did a 2-year-old do all this? How? If you can explain to me how a 2-year-old did all that, unless he's ginormous, unless he could reach all that and had that much strength to press all the pedals and open the doors and do all that stuff in a certain amount of time. How did he do all that? Because it seems kind of fake to me, and the video is getting kind of wrong, so I'm just gonna tell you about what happened. After Tesla says this, after Tesla tells, like, this happened, that's what the data retrieved from the car said, they still had a problem. The family still had an argument to say. Here's their argument. The lawsuit argues that the Model X should have additional safety interlocks to prevent the type of scenario that the feature that automatically closes the door when the brake pedal is pressed is illogical and serves to create numerous dangerous situations. So, closing the door automatically when wait, this doesn't even have anything to do with the family's first argument, because their first argument is like, hey, something happened, your car didn't work, and now I had a premature baby and my car is crashed. Tesla's probably gonna give this family a free car just to make them shut up, because I'm pretty sure Elon Musk or whoever takes care of the whole Tesla company, well, Elon Musk obviously, but like whoever takes care of these lawsuits, they'll probably just give the family a free car or something to like get them to get off their asses real quick, because this is probably really annoying for Tesla right now. But that's their argument. They just completely changed their argument. The first argument is your car didn't work correctly, and now an accident happened. And now their argument is closing the door when you press the brake pedal doesn't make sense. Is that their argument? Because that's what it sounds like to me. Closing the door when the brake pedal is pressed makes dangerous situations happen. If the brake pedal is pressed, if you ever drove a car before you change it to park, or it's on park, before you change it to drive or reverse, you press the brake pedal so the car doesn't go completely at a certain direction, and you have a little bit of time to think about what you're gonna do. Now, closing the door, in my opinion, is the safest thing to do when you're about to go out or go reverse or go frontwards, because you can actually crash into something if the door is still open. If the doors are still open, and the doors are falcon wings, so they're open up. So if the door's still open and they crash into something, that's unsafe. Alright, what's safe is closing the doors before you start driving. Alright? Closing the doors, that's what doors are there for, to protect people, to make sure that even if something crashes, the doors are still there to like not let you fall out of the car. So this is a really stupid argument in my opinion. If you think it's a smart argument, I don't know what the hell is wrong with you. But that's everything I have to say today. Yeah, they're just trying to lose. They're just trying to win the case for their own irresponsible actions. They're just trying to blame Tesla for stuff that they didn't do. Tesla's car was probably working fine. Alright, if there was an issue, I bet it wasn't this. Alright, it was probably working fine, the car. The car was working fine, definitely. Now, the family that did the mistake, alright, specifically the mother, she made a mistake of leaving a 2-year-old alone. Alright? Or leaving the door open, for that matter. Is she trying to get her stuff stolen? Because unless she was in a rush and just wanted to go in her house and get what she needed, that's really irresponsible of her. That's all I have to say. Thank you.